my China anniversary, my Chinaversary. I've been in China now for 14 full years. This is the beginning of my 15th year, which means it's almost the anniversary of me starting to play badminton, because I didn't start playing until after not just moving to China, but after moving to Xiamen. So what is the biggest difference that I've noticed? You are not going to believe this. And I'm not saying that as like clickbait, like literally you cannot guess what this is. Whatever you're thinking right now, I promise you it's wrong. Hey guys, Badminton Becky, American living and playing in badminton, and like I said, you know, it's the beginning of my 15th year. I don't actually remember what day I came to China. It was 2009 in August, mid to late August. So for the sake of narrative, let's say it's today, because one day this week it will be true. I never would have started playing badminton if I didn't move to China, and specifically to Xiamen. So I've been playing badminton for almost 8 years. So what is the biggest difference that I've seen? I'm gonna guess a lot of you are thinking like level, like over the years people have gotten better. No, I mean for sure, individual people, but as a whole, when I started playing in Xiamen, Xiamen had a reputation of having the top players, amateur players. Like Xiamen is a known badminton city in China, more so than, you know, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, all those. And it still is. We still have that pride, badminton pride. And maybe even more so, like Lindan, he comes from a city outside of Xiamen. Chenlong is our own. Zhao Yanlei lives here. Her husband. We have a ton of pro players. They still live and work and play here. And, you know, even more so because since Lindan's retired, they've actually built a school in Xiamen. Some rich guy built a Harry Potter-esque school, and he named the gymnasium the Lindan Gymnasium, and Lindan's wife teaches badminton, and he takes the extra special amazing students. So badminton is still very strong. That has not changed in the 8 years that I've been playing. You might guess the level of equipment, you know, that maybe people didn't have so much money before. They were just playing with cheap equipment, and now everyone plays with nice stuff. First off, Xiamen, we've never been like equipment obsessed. It is not a common thing to be like, ooh, where's your racket from? You know, or, oh, what's your string tension? Like, we don't really ever talk about equipment here, so nobody really cares. But when I moved here, Xiamen's a pretty prosperous city. People have good jobs, and people that play badminton are awesome, so they like to, you know, get whatever suits them. Nobody cares, and so I don't know if the level of equipment has gone up, but it certainly feels like the same level that it used to be. Is it more competitions? No, because when I started, you know, you've been seeing my videos all these years now, and it's like competition, 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 competition. We have crazy sponsors, not just the badminton companies, but like Old People Medicine will sponsor badminton tournament. Every, like the Chinese IRS has their own competitions all the time. So that's not it. Can you guess? Do you have anything else in your mind? I'm giving you a little foreshadowing. Last chance. It's this precious machine. That's right, air conditioning. I know this sounds crazy, but if you know anything about Chinese culture or you're Chinese yourself, you know that hot water is king. Hot water is the penicillin, chicken soup, mother's hug when you're sick of all maladies in China. No matter what sickness you have, no matter what ill you have, you could be like seasick and they'll be like, drink hot water. My friend literally went to the doctor. She had hurt her elbow. She had hit her elbow into something and it was in major pain. The doctor literally said for her to drink hot water and it would get better. Conversely, because hot water is so revered in this country, like when you go to a restaurant, you get a cup of hot water. Doesn't matter the temperature. It could be 100 plus degrees as it is in Xiamen. You will not get a cold glass of water ever. And in wintertime, courts actually turn off the coolers. So you literally cannot get a cold drink. They're all room temperature. And Xiamen is not a cold place. We are not up north. Winter times is still in like the 20s and teens. Playing badminton, you still have to change your shirt. We change it 4 times in the summer and like 2 times in the winter. It's still hot, but you cannot get a cold drink in most badminton courts. Because if hot water is good, then cold water is bad. And I'm an American, and I think Americans are renowned for our love of ice and ice water. Although people actually kind of don't really know that in China. I always tell them that, like, you know, after surgery, If you can't drink anything, but you feel thirsty, the doctor will give you ice chips to suck on, or pregnant women will eat ice cream. That is like shocking to Chinese people, because no doctor would ever allow anyone to ever have any sort of ice chip or ice water. So much so that when I was in the hospital once, my friend, not Aja will, where's Aja? There he is. He will help me to get cold drinks because he knows it makes me feel better. Like when I feel uncomfortable or hot or headachy or whatever, I need a cold drink, not a hot drink. But I had a friend. We would eat ice cream together. We had air conditioning on all the time. And yet when I was in the hospital, he would not help me get a cold drink with ice in it because he said, you can only have it when you're healthy. You cannot have it when you're unhealthy because cold drinks and ice are bad for you and your body's already weak, so you'll only get weaker. Like, that's how strong the thought is. And my friend is younger than me. He was like in his 20s. So it's not even a very old person traditional belief. It's young people as well. There's also the traditional belief that you can't play sports and have like a cold breeze on you. Like every now and then when I would find or I would stand next to an air conditioner, people would tell me, like, Xiaobing, get away from the air conditioner. Like, it's okay for it to be cool in the area, but you should not stand in front of it. I always like to say, my name is Xiaobing. That means little ice in Chinese. So I like to say, you know, Xiaobing, Xihuanbing, like little ice likes ice or little ice likes cold. Also, you know, I drink a lot of cold water. Like, I insist on having cold water because I'm freaking hot, you know? And a lot of people have criticized me. You know, they'll see me and they'll say, oh, you shouldn't drink cold water. And I used to say, that's Chinese tradition. You know, like, I get it. It's a traditional thought. Back in the day, obviously, drinking cold water before chlorination and cleaning the water and all that. Like, of course, in the olden days, you had to boil water to make it safe to drink. So drinking cold water was dangerous. A long time ago, not now, but the belief is still around. So everyone would criticize me. They would say, don't drink cold water. And I used to try to use logic and be like, that's Chinese tradition. That's not actual science. And they say, oh, it is. And I'm like, well, what's the science? And they can't ever say. They just know it's bad for you. So I have given up on trying to use logic to fight it. So I just say American bodies are different. And people accept that immediately. They say American bodies are different and they go, okay. But this year, more than any other year, I have noticed more and more standalone air conditionings, not the whole place. Again, that's too expensive. But to put a little standalone in corners. So after you finish playing, you can at least like stand by it or stand in the row. Of course, these things could be trouble because they blow air. So people try to put the shutters or whatever. Generally, they try to put it up so it doesn't hit a cord and interrupt airflow. I am loving this new change, and I have noticed a whole shift in Chinese society, and maybe it's because of global warming, and maybe because temperatures are getting hotter, or it's just a more modern society enjoying comfort. Because my first school, when I first came to China in 2009, the school was in Hangzhou, which is considered the southern China, but it's more north than where I am. And the winters were frigid cold, to a point of my students shaking in class. We were all wearing full winter gear, hats, gloves. I was teaching in a hat, scarf, gloves. It was so bitter cold. And then the summer classes, like in June or September, would be ferociously hot. And there was no air conditioning, there was no heat in that school. And the school said suffering builds character. It's literally what they told the students. Now, my students start to whine in like April because it starts to get hot and they go, turn on the air conditioner. And I really like how in badminton courts, they're starting, you know, dare to dream that in a couple years, I will have a beautiful, every court is air conditioned all the time because it makes a huge difference. The city courts are my favorite place to play in the summertime, even though the air conditioning does create a very unstable airflow that really messes with the shuttle. But I will take a messed up shuttle to have a bit of cool air rather than this heat and humidity. Didn't guess that one, did you? Air conditioners. I love you, air conditioners. And this is a very positive change in the China badminton scene. And I'm gonna guess the whole sports scene, but I can only speak for badminton. No, in the comments below, what did you think had changed a lot? What did you guess when I first asked that question? I'm just curious. Did anyone guess air conditioners? I did give you foreshadowing. So that's it. I'm gonna go play. I've talked too much. I'm missing out gameplay. So I will see you guys next time on the court. Bye.